Hello there, Only One Kenobi here, Only One. And I just want to do a little video talking about the gunship. The last video I made, it hadn't been officially announced. It was just rumour at that point. But, you know, that guy is never wrong, yak face, is he? So, you know, anything I said in my last video still holds. What I wanted, the Sandcrawler was my first choice. Then also what they kind of really need to do in terms of an original trilogy anyway, which is the shuttle, Lambda class shuttle. The Tidarium is one of them. And again, that's only because of the fact that that's the only vehicle from the original line that has never been updated to capacity. You can only get 2 in that cockpit. Like you could only get 2 in the original Falcon cockpit and 2 in the original LAAT cockpit. So that is outstanding, and it still now remains undone. You know, how long will TVC last? That could be something that will never ever be done. So anyway, on to what it actually is, and it is going to be the gunship, the LAAT/I gunship from Attack of the Clones, first seen in. By all accounts, prequels fans have been asking for a prequels Haslab. I don't know, what am I, a prequels fan, original trilogy? I'm a Star Wars fan. If it's good, I like it, and I definitely liked the prequels. What was I, 18 when Phantom Menace came out? 20, 21 when Attack of the Clones came out, and you know, I've got no issue with those films. It's the sequels I've got a problem with. They better not be doing Haslab out of that crap. But anyway, so that's it. They've got their wish now, but I was disappointed because I didn't want that. I wanted a Sandcrawler and I wanted a shuttle. But then you could argue, well, you've had your bite of the cherry. You've had your cantina. Not that I even wanted a cantina, to be honest, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't want a cantina at all. I don't really do place it. I like dioramas and things like that, but I like ships. I love it. And, you know, the Sandcrawler would have been just like the ultimate vehicle. It's iconic. And people have said to me, oh, well, what would you put inside it? Well, I always thought that it would be a great place to put droids. You know, I've got loads of droids now on my shelves. And, yeah, I don't know, man. It's just one of those things. And also, let's not forget the Haslab is supposed to be for really, really exclusive items that are just never, ever going to make mainstream, you know, store line stuff like the barge. That's a classic example of what a Haslab should be. And like I said in my previous video, no doubt I've said this, but they have already brought this thing out numerous times. There's loads of gunships you could buy. But I did back one. And I have to say, I really do hope it backs because I like it. The thing I want to talk about in this video is price. That's what everybody is talking about. When I first heard the price, I'll be completely honest with you, I actually didn't think much wrong with the price. I actually didn't have a big problem with the price, only because I know how much the TVC Republic gunship goes for now on the second-hand market. And $450, ladies and gentlemen, to me is a bargain, given that that's going to be bigger and better. So let's talk about what this new Haslab. Before we go on to price again, I'll talk a bit more about price and why people are a bit annoyed. Talk about that surcharge business, which is also really cheeky, I find. But this new gunship, there's a really good video out there. It's 17 minutes, I believe. It's Chris with another fella from Lucasfilm, I think, and they're talking about the ship, and you see the prototype in shot, and it looks awesome. I had a quick rewatch of flyguy.net. You might know that guy. About 11 years ago, 12 years ago now, he did a review of the TVC Attack of the Clones one, and that was always on my bucket list, that ship. But the size aspect of this new one means that those glass turrets look way better, because on Flyguy's video, you'll notice that the glass turrets just look way too big. And when they're on the side of the vehicle, you can't even see into the side section, you know what I mean? It blocks off the clones. It's no good. But from what I can see from this new one, it's scaled up enough to put things like that a bit more in balance. It's not screen accurate, obviously, in size, but it's getting there. It's going to be big. What is it, 20% bigger than the other? So if I was to lay that on top of the Falcon, it would really, the wingspan would give it a run for its money. It's a very big vehicle, the previous one. It would stretch the width of that probably. So I'm wondering this new one, it's probably going to be on scale with something like that Razor Crest, man, it's going to be big, which is great. And it does look good, man. I'm so glad Chris in that video said he was going to, it was going to get a wash. It certainly looked like it. Which brings me to the Ghost, ladies and gentlemen, and then we can talk about price again. This thing really disappointed me. I'm a bit torn on this because I love looking at it when I come in this room. You'll see it in the background of all my latest videos ever since I reviewed it back at Christmas time. And I like looking at it. It's a lovely ship. It looks good. But if you break it apart and look at it, there's a lot of empty space in this. There's nothing going on in this section here. That's just literally empty space. They could have had something else in there, like, I don't know, this thing's got an escape pod in there or something. I don't know. So it's a big vehicle, and so it was always going to be big, but there's just nothing in those sections, so it's almost like that. But the biggest concern or issue I had with this Ghost was the lack of weathering. There is weathering, there's that digital weathering stuff, but the wash was sorely missed. It really did need that to really set it off. This has got a wash. Look closely. Look at that. Now, apparently, Chris has said that this new gunship will have the wash. That's good. Pleased to hear that. And I'm also really worried about the cantina, ladies and gentlemen. We've all had an email telling us to check our address and all of that, which is all good, which means the Haslab cantina will be imminent, you know, going to be getting out there. But oh, look at that. Streets of Tatooine, that was underweathered. It's a price issue, isn't it? Obviously, they're trying to save money, and that's evident, you know, stuff like that. It's just under par, in my opinion. However, that's the good thing about the gunship. It will come with a wash. Good. And it did look good, man. It looks very screen accurate. Very screen accurate. That's... Anyway, that's about all I can say for that. So, I didn't back it straight away. I waited until the next day, and then one of the things that really annoyed me about it, other than the surcharge thing with regards to the price, is that somebody told me that I saw that if the exchange rate issue, right? So $450 is not £450. That really annoyed me, and I saw somebody did a post. I think it was TVC Dadalorian. Should be £375 if it was to be in line with the exchange rate. So that kind of was another thing that annoyed me. I thought, wow, man, why are we paying equivalent in dollars? So you leave your thoughts on that. I've spoken to a few people about that already, but the bottom line is, for me, $450, I was happy. It was doable because of the fact that it's going to be way better than that previous TVC one, and that costs ridiculous amounts of money. That Falcon right there, in fact, that cost $400 5 years ago. I think it's because of the fact it was round about COVID as well, and people were a bit more flush back then. We weren't paying for petrol and stuff like that, being stuck at home, so maybe that's why. The Ghost as well, this cost $500. That seems a bit of a rip-off now. But I know people who bought more than one of these. God damn, the box for this is ridiculously big, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad I only bought one. I've only backed one of the gunship. There's no way I want to get any more than that. That'll be me, man. I've backed one, I've done my bit, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. But it would be awful if it didn't back, because of the fact that it is the centerpiece for the new campaign. Return to Geonosis, or whatever they are calling it, the Battle of Geonosis theme thing. It would be a nightmare. Cantina number 1, the base one, was $399. It's $400. That was the one, and then the deluxe was $499, so $500 again. So this gunship's between the two, and the gunship, I feel, it will be really good to. Well, I know you can only really have clones with it, and Jedi, of course, but vehicles like that, you can't see the characters because they're all inside. Whereas that has got an external element. You know what I mean? It's the landing craft, the landing gunship, so you can see the clones. And oh man, if they are going to bring us some more clones, I recently reviewed that. That is incredible. That I know that's from the Ahsoka series, and that's the Lieutenant, the blue coloured clone. But give us a 4-pack of them, Hasbro and pronto, or at least in time for this Haslab. But that's definitive. That incredible. So it's 8,000 backers needed. And then the top tier is 14,000, and that's incredible because the top tier for I made the notes earlier, the top tier for the Cantina was 17,000, I believe, and that was to get our Shus. We only got as far as 14,000, which got us Nabran. So that's probably why they're stopping short on 14k for this, but I do worry, man, because there's every chance it won't even back. It's almost like a little bit of fatigue in that sense. Although we should be very grateful that we're getting the Haslabs, but when it's something that, in my case anyway, I mean, I've backed one, but it wasn't what I really wanted. I very nearly sat on it and didn't back one. But I do actually really want it. Now that I've seen it, that is, and I do recommend you watch that video with Chris. But there is this issue of the price that people are just not happy with the price. Then there's the surcharge, nightmare. Oh God, so that's an extra tenner that's going to cost. They should really chuck in the postage for free over here in the UK, but they haven't. I've just been watching Ask Bosk, actually. He's been talking about the Gunship, and there was a few things mentioned. Somebody asked him what they, would add into the campaign of the Jedi. Now, I've got to talk about that. It was Ajan Kalor, who I usually associate with, well, I always associate him with Revenge of the Sith more. He had more of a role, didn't he? So you're going to get these two, which I suppose they're thinking probably of the Revenge of the Sith link. But for me, one of the tiers should have been this man. Where is he? Him, Ki-Adi-Mundi. He is the one Jedi that you see in that gunship in the Battle of Geonosis. He's the one, he's trying to help people aboard, isn't he? And he's got his lightsaber. He's fighting off blasters. I know you see Padme, you see Anakin, you see Mace Windu. Pilot, land in that assembly area. One of the stretch goals I thought it would be him. The yellow commander, but that's not to say they won't do that later on in the line, like this fella, but yellow, that would be friggin' awesome on a single card as well. I'd love that. And Tim was also talking about the prospects of the villains from the Battle of Geonosis, the Techno-Union Army, the Mun. That would be good to see if they could do him, the Banking Clan dude. And who else is it? Oh yeah, Poggle the Lesser, which brings me to this, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't see it Christmas time, I bought that and reviewed it. Had no idea that the next campaign was going to be a Geonosis based, but I'm glad I bought that. And in there was my Dooku somewhere, he's fallen over. But there's my really good Django as well. I don't think they'll be doing anything with regard to the arena, but that's a really good piece. But it's all interesting to know that this new campaign is surrounding that. So it's something I need to think a bit more about. What else could there be? And that is all I can really say, ladies and gentlemen. There were a couple of other things announced. There was the Chewbacca and the Han and the Shock Trooper. They look good. The Han looks a little podgy though. He's a bit like the one from the Return of the Jedi, but I still thought the head and the face were good. That was all, ladies and gentlemen. I've had a chance to digest all this news now, and I'm filming this on a Monday after I've just processed everything. And if there's anything you want to tell me or any thoughts that you have on it, comment below as usual. I've not got a massive issue with the price. I know it's expensive, but hell, I know I'm going to be more pleased with this new gunship than I've been with that. I'm not a massive Rebels fan, really. That does look cool, man. I do like that. Please don't get me wrong. I do like this Ghost, but I think the gunship is wow. It's really cool, man. It's going to be good. I shall leave some links in the description to the videos I've mentioned, including the one where Chris is looking in closer detail to the prototype of the Republic gunship. It does look good. I can't stress that enough. Thank you for watching. Leave your thoughts and comments down below. I have been Only One Kenobi. Only One. Out.